Hello and welcome to New Gameplay today. I am Alex Stadnick, joined with me by my fellow Alex. The Council of Alexes are here. Alex Van Aken, hello, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No,
I always love doing videos with you, Alex.
Oh, I do too. We should be partners.
We should. We should both be on the video team together.
Well,
that'd be cool.
Let's not get too crazy. Speaking of too crazy, I'm so excited. I should be thanking you. What are we looking at today, Alex?
We are looking at the newly revealed Rainbow Six Extraction. This is my gameplay. I got to play a couple of hours recently at a press event remotely. It should be noted that this footage was captured remotely via Parsec, so I was controlling the game remotely, and the person on the other end from Ubisoft was capturing it. So if you see any weird artifacting, that's probably the reason why. It was very smooth for me, even playing remotely. So I just wanted to get that, all the notes, all the disclaimers out of the way.
So if the man dies, it's Parsec, not him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's it's COVID. We'll just blame it all on a pandemic that forces us to do media events from home.
For sure. Speaking of blaming it on COVID, the old name is gone. Quarantine is no more. This is Extraction, but obviously there's still traits of the game still in there. They didn't change a ton of it. Like, what's the deal with this one?
Okay, so the quick summary is that this is an all-new experience. This is not an add-on to Siege. I know there's some confusion about that potentially. This is a brand new standalone Rainbow Six game. It is a 3-person online shooter, and it's co-op. So you and 2 other friends are going to be running around and capturing objectives. And the thing is, you are using Siege operators from Siege. These are hand-picked operators that the team at Ubisoft selected for a PvE experience, and even some old characters like Pulse and Lion are here. Characters that don't get a ton of playtime in competitive Siege these days, at least the matches that I play in.
For sure.
And that's kind of intentional. I have a preview over as well on the YouTube channel and in the magazine coming up, where I was talking to Patrick Meath, the creative director on the game, and he was kind of saying, yeah, we were gonna we picked some favorites. Ella's here, Vigil's here, some crowd favorites, but we also wanted to include some that weren't as loved by the community, and they wanted to kind of make them shine in a new setting. And
is that because their skill sets work better in this PvE experience where you're fighting gross tar monsters?
Yeah, it's particularly Lion especially. He was a character that came out a few years ago. I think he might have been year 2 of Siege, year 2 or 3, one of the first seasons. And his whole shtick was that he would scan you, and if you were moving, you'd be scanned. In the early days of Lion, it was very effective. Like, people just weren't used to it. But now, if you try to play Siege and you want to play as Lion, and I sometimes still do, I enjoy the character. It's just one of those, everyone knows what's happening. And so I feel like he's less effective because as soon as you see that scan come up, it's like, okay, everybody knows not to move anymore. Like,
yeah,
I feel like it's rare to get, unless you're really working as a team in Siege,
for sure.
It's rare to have him be good. But in this game where, you're playing against AI, his EE1D scan is really good, and they've kind of tweaked it. And there's a lot of little small changes like this to the operator. So now, whereas in the old game, in Siege, you have to, be moving for Lion to scan you and see your location. In this game, you can be standing, or the enemies can be standing still, and he'll still see them.
Nice,
so
for sure,
little smart things like that. I'm playing right now as Pulse, and I'll kind of get into the objective of the game. We are playing out on the Alaska map. It's the Orpheus Research Center, and each main map is separated into 3 sub-maps, and those are interlinked by airlocks, which are essentially safe rooms from Left 4 Dead. Mm-hmm. So you'll go into the room, you'll lock yourself in, you'll get health or whatever supplies. There's actually not as many supplies in these safe rooms as there are in something like Left 4 Dead. And you see, I just entered right now one of these airlocks, and you can see there's some ammo there, but it's not like Left 4 Dead where there's just piles of supplies waiting for you. So you kind of have to it's a very tactical experience, and so we are moving from these submap to submaps, completing randomized objectives. So they could be go and rescue this operator, go collect alien samples, and they give you like a cool little biopsy knife, and you have to go and like do a stealth takedown.
Ooh,
and
yeah.
if you do it with the biopsy knife, you get the sample from the alien and you complete your little mission. But the cool thing about this is that everything, the submaps and the rotations, the objectives and enemies and loot within, it's all procedurally generated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
Wow.
so it definitely doesn't feel like, granted, I've only played a few hours, but every time it felt completely different. And still felt like I was playing through a cohesive map at the same time.
For sure. So
but yeah.
my ears peaked a little bit when I heard Left 4 Dead, and maybe this isn't the case. But in this experience, like, what is winning like in this experience? Is there a huge like finale scene, like this climactic end piece, or is it just trying to survive and capture these points?
It is. You're trying to. Well, the thing is, it's kind of like Call of Duty Zombies, where in between like the major sections of the game, you have a chance to extract early if you want.
Oh, I see.
So the deeper you go, the third submap always has better rewards. It's obviously much tougher than the first submap. It kind of like the rewards and the risks scale the deeper you go into each match of extraction.
Okay.
And so not really Left 4 Dead where there's like this scripted climactic finish. It's all real time. You're kind of, it's all procedural.
For sure.
So definitely not like the bombastic jumping from a helicopter,
Yeah.
and Back 4 Blood we played, like escaping the cruise ship before it explodes. Like,
Yep.
I haven't seen that.
Okay.
It's more so, a tactical shooter that is meant to really challenge you and really force you to work as a team. And I know that's like a lot of times uses like cheesy marketing, and FPS marketing, but it really does feel like there's emphasis on stealth here. This game is hard. Like,
Yeah.
there are plenty of times that our squad like wiped or died. I obviously picked footage where we made it out. But there are plenty of times that aren't pictured in this video where like we would go down. And so this is a really cool part that we're at right now. I'm sorry. There's a lot to this game. And so if you want a succinct, summary, go watch my preview. We're kind of like doing this on the fly. But right now we are about to see an Archaean Chimera tree, and inside of it, it has an operator trapped, and you can see his heartbeat right there on my pulse cardiac sensor. So the MIA Sledge. Yeah. So Sledge is one of my operators that died in a previous match. And now in order to play as him again, I have to rescue him in a mission.
Oh, I see. So the results of your missions carry over.
Yes.
Sometimes. Okay.
No. Your health carries over from mission to mission. So if I leave this match with 4 health, if I want to play, Pulse again the next match, he will only have 4 health.
Oh, wow.
And so I could take him in if I wanted, like, because there is some, so we don't know the specifics, but there is some sort of operator specific progression. So if you play a lot as one character, you're going to level them up.
Okay.
And so let's say, oh man, I'm like so close to getting the next React gadget on Pulse. I want to go in with that 4 health. And maybe I'm lucky and I'll find a health pack really quickly in the match.
For sure.
Or I won't and I'll die and he'll be MIA and I'll have to rescue him in a later match.
So in theory, you go through this game and lose basically all of your operators?
You can. I asked about that. They said there is a fail safe that will prevent you from being like locked out of the game.
You just have to buy another copy of the game.
No, I have a theory they'll like make you play as a recruit or something, which is like the default. Like when early on in Siege, when you didn't have any operators, you could play as the like recruits. I have a feeling that's what'll happen. They didn't confirm anything, but they said you will not be locked out of the game if you like somehow die a bunch.
Which is
a
good choice by them. You don't want to lock people out of your game. Is there any? Are we coming to the end of the footage? We still have a little time.
we still got a little time.
Cool.
Left.
What is how much story are they diving into? Like, do they talk about what the hell's going on with these creatures in this goo? Like, or is that just kind of a backdrop thing?
No, I don't know if I'm allowed to speak to it, but I'll say yes. There is definitely a story.
Okay.
I think I can say that for
Yes.
sure.
Games usually have them. I think it's a safe bet.
Yeah. No, there is like, yeah.
Okay.
There is a story. I'll
Yeah.
say that.
Say no more.
Yeah, but you are playing like multiplayer matches. But like I think I haven't seen how it all connects, but I would imagine that in between, you know, story is being doled out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so right now what we're doing is I'm actually playing with Liana right now and a representative from Ubisoft. Liana went down and I carried her. People may have seen like this yellow carcass I was carrying around. That was her downed body.
Okay.
And I was trying to get her to a safe spot so that when we finish this mission, we can extract her so that her agent isn't MIA. Because if we left her here and didn't bring her to the extraction point when we were done, then yeah, the character she's playing as, she'll have to rescue later on. So I'm trying to prevent that for Liana.
Yeah, but then so let's say you make it to the next round and you didn't save her operator, she could still play the next round, just not as that character, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And so we both might be missing different operators. It's like, to me, I'm missing Sledge in this match, and so he's the one that's trapped in the tree. Liana's missing a totally I think she was missing like Ella or somebody. So it's not like not everybody in the party is saving Sledge. It's all you know, relative. But you know, it's they do the game design wizardry and make it all, you know, work. But
Or Wizard Harry.
yeah. So
nice.
Yeah, we talked about the persistent health between matches. We talked a little bit about the progression rewards. It's not permadeath, but it feels like it. Like it feels like the game has the weight of permadeath, but without having like a full permadeath system. You know.
For sure.
And like if you do have an operator go MIA, or let's say your operator's just injured, you have 4 health, you don't want to play the next match with him, you can play as other operators and complete missions and objectives, and that operator will heal over time.
Okay.
While they're not being played. So if you have an operator in an injured state, leave them alone, they'll eventually heal. It's when they go missing in action that you have to actually rescue them.
Got it.
And the game decides when that's going to happen. It's not like you can select, I want to go rescue, you know, Sledge. The game will decide, okay, we'll give you an objective.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard, and you'll see it right now. We are preparing. We're 1 team member down. And you see this tree, it's got these long black tendrils just scattering to the edges of the room. And we're going to begin, you know, a tug of war here in a second. And we're going to try to remove Sledge from the tree. And it's really difficult. We're prepping because there's this sludge on the ground you can see. Anytime when you load into the match, the floor is covered in this black sludge. But when you also kill an enemy, it'll spawn more sludge, and the sludge slows you down. Speeds up enemies that are in it.
Cool. I was gonna ask if there was a reason you were shooting the ground. You're a purposeful man. I figured there was.
And so right now my teammate is pulling out Sledge from the tree. You can see their outline. You can see them like literally. They have a little mini game where they have to keep tapping their button to try to pull them out. We'll go up here in a second. You'll see. You can kind of see the operator pulling the other one out. And I'm trying to destroy these tendrils. And I can only shoot them when they send out these pulsating red energy clusters.
Yeah.
And if those clusters get to the tree, then it will make our tug of war harder. And if we fail the tug of war, then we lose. Like Sledge isn't rescued. Like he stays dead.
Yep.
Until another match. And there was plenty of matches where we lost this mini game. So this is like a really tense part where like I'm trying my best to like
it seems like
shoot these things. Yeah.
I'm noting, because this is the first time I'm seeing footage for this. It's not. I think this fits well with the Siege aesthetic, right? It's not constant enemies being thrown at you, at least from what we're seeing, but it seems like the ones that are, it's very tense and purposeful. And
for sure.
I know some people are thrown off of that, but by Siege and stuff. But do you think, like, who is this game for? Like, are Siege players going to eat this up? Is someone like me who's only played Siege on stream, like, going to be interested in this? What was your take on that?
I think this is going to be for people like you.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I think Siege players are going to enjoy this, but it is co-op, and because of that, it's much more approachable. And the way you consume it, I feel like, is different. For Siege players, I think this is going to be a great, you're waiting for your friends to get online. Instead of just sitting in the lobby for 20 minutes, you can go and play, a round of extraction.
Okay.
But I think this is going to open up a whole new audience for Rainbow Six, because I think it really is geared towards people like you, who enjoy FPS games. Maybe you don't enjoy, the nature of Siege, but you like the characters.
I don't like getting my ass kicked. That's what I don't like.
This game is for you.
Yeah.
For sure. It's much more approachable, but it's still like, it's hard, and there's still like this element of being tactical. There's a lot of the same mechanics from Siege. There's even like you can barricade doors and walls like you can in Siege.
For sure.
So right now I'm delivering Liana, securing the casualty, so that there's Liana, rest in peace. And then we are securing the MIA operator. And then we're going to extract. We could keep going through another airlock, but we are low on health. We both have half health, and we're one team member down, so we're going to extract early. But now Sludge will be available for me to play in the next match. So
beautiful. We're
requesting extraction. That's the game. It comes out September 16th, 2021 on so many platforms: next gen, last gen, PC, Amazon Luna, Stadia.
Wow.
You're going to be able to play this thing a lot of places.
It's a beautiful thing. Mr. Van Aken, a pleasure as always. Fans, watchers, viewers, thank you so much. We're in E3. We have a ton of stuff. Go to youtube.com/GameInformer. Go to GameInformer.com. Go to the podcast feed. You're covered. It's beautiful. We'll see you next time. Thanks.
Bye.